You do have a book out, Living in Your Calling versus Chasing Your Craving. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Well, I think you would probably relate to this, that many days, or we just had, February 2nd, that feels like Groundhog Day, where we wake up and we get back on the hamster wheel and we're chasing and chasing and chasing and running and running, running, running. And we don't really slow down to figure out, are we living in our calling, or are we just chasing the next best thing? Either
for the short term. Yeah.
Correct. And so I actually wrote this book as a reflection on my life and where I have done that too, where I got on the hamster wheel and I started running and chasing either monetary, even our
which
fitness.
Never works.
No, desire for, a smaller size, to be wearing a smaller size, or to have a bigger house or a bigger car or the next vacation. And quite often, as I said, when we live in our strengths, it gives us that opportunity to go back and figure out, are we really living in our values, our calling, or are we chasing something that we're craving?
I like that. So 4 companies, one with successful exit, one on the way. What advice do you have for upcoming or entrepreneurs that are just starting out?
I just recently read the book, The Messy Middle.
Yeah, you were talking about that. I haven't picked it up yet.
Scott Belcher. It's a fabulous book because, when you start a company, it's so, I like to, and I think he used the word too, it can be really romantic. I mean, you're so excited and everything is, there's tons of energy. There's tons of whiteboard sessions. There's all this excitement. And then you get into the middle of the business and it can get, messy and it's sticky and it's very hard. And there's a lot more low days than high days. And there's a lot more doors being shut or frustrations. And then if you get to sell the company, again, it gets very exhilarating and exciting. And so it's, how do you ride out that middle time, being strategic, being innovative, leveraging your strengths, leveraging the team's strengths, calling on other outside resources that can help you build the business, open doors, create that next growth hack. And that takes a lot of, grit and ingenuity and perseverance. And so those are some of the things that I would, I guess, share with other female founders that expect that the middle will be messy. But you can move through that if you can continue to keep a sense of, I wouldn't even use the word balance, because quite honestly, I used to think life was balanced. And I've learned when you do a startup, there's no balance. It's like 50% of my life is my work, 50% is
I wish.
my children. And sometimes that's not even in balance. So I would tell a female founder, expect that the messy is going to be middle, but try to find some joy in that chaos.
Yeah. And that you're going to probably end up doing the things that maybe you don't like to do. Maybe the finance part isn't your favorite, but in the middle, you're going to end up wearing all hats and doing all different things.
Absolutely. With a startup, part of the goal of a startup is that you need to stay lean. And you stay lean by wearing many hats and taking the money that you're receiving and trying to make the longest runway you possibly can to lift your product up off the ground. And that means that sometimes you're going to be, doing some YouTube research on some financial aspect of the business that maybe you've never done before. But I've also found that when you get a VC that's really supportive, they are amazing at stepping in and helping you with strategy and giving feedback on your North Star and keeping you on track with that. So that communication with your VC, I think, has been really helpful for us, and we've had incredible partners.
Yeah, I love that. And when I interviewed our friend Jean Lavalle from Wesos, that was one thing she talked about, is like, there are tons of people available to help you if you just ask.
Absolutely. I think, that's one of the things when you talked about inspiring and supporting and coaching, empowering women. I feel like I've been pretty blessed with some mentors and coaches that have been very generous with their time coaching me. And that's something that I try to pass on to other women that need a cup of coffee or need to pop on a quick phone call about raising money or, growth hacking or app development or user experience, because that was what was extended to me. So if I can extend that to the next woman by opening up the door or reaching out a hand to her, I'm always trying to make that something I have time for.
Yeah, I love that.